As you may or may not know, my wife and I just got back from Vegas. It was a great trip. We ate, we drank, we had a blast. But then we got home and looked at the credit card, and I gotta say, it doesn't matter how much fun you're having, $25 for a drink is a ripoff. Frickin' Vegas. I hate getting ripped off, and so do the lads over at Harry's. They spent years watching the razor blade companies rip people off and said, no more. Not all heroes wear capes, my friends, and they want to prove that they're legit by offering you hot dogs a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. I've been telling you about them for months, and I'm genuinely proud to have Harry's as a sponsor of this show. I wasn't kidding. The plastic, futuristic-looking crap razors you get at the store are overpriced and they're poor quality. Harry's blades are crisp, clean, and classy. They're the kind of razor you'd expect your grandpa to have on his bathroom counter. And most importantly, they work. Shave after shave, they're so smooth, they're precise. I used to go through the crappy store blades all the time, but Harry's are built to last. And they're not just better quality than the other names, they're more affordable. And they deliver. Just set your schedule, and for as little as $2, new blades, shaving creams, lotions, everything you need, right to your door when you need it. I genuinely cannot think of a reason not to try Harry's. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsors. They're the best shaving supplies I've ever used. Try them out, and if you're not happy, your shave's on them. And unlike the other subscriptions, they're really easy to cancel if you want to too, which is a nice bonus, but believe me, you're not going to want to cancel. Getting ripped off isn't funny. Switch to Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. That's harrys.com/RTG for a $3 trial set. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 246, and it's one of our prestigious Patreon poll winning episodes. Every month, our patrons get to pick a game that I've never really played, and then I play it, and then I talk about it, and well, you get the whole rigmarole. And this year with the Patreon polls, we started doing Survivor polls every month. Instead of just a vote for one game to win, we start out with 8 games, and then every day the game with the fewest votes gets eliminated. We repost the poll, and we whittle it down until one's left standing. And it's been a lot of fun, and every month we've based them on a specific console. January was the NES, and Earthbound Beginnings won. I covered that a few weeks ago. March, it was the Game Boy, and Metroid 2 won. That was probably going to be next week's episode of Remember the Game, FYI. April, the one that's running right now, is the Super Nintendo, and it's been pretty intense. It's they're fun. I love coming back every day and seeing how the votes swap as games get eliminated and stuff like that. But February was the Sega Genesis, and as you can probably tell, Golden Axe won the poll, just barely beating out Beavis and Butthead. It was a very close vote. So I am running behind on the Patreon poll winners, but I am getting caught up. And Golden Axe was the perfect game for catching up, because you can play through it in like fucking 20 minutes. It was awesome. I played it quite a bit over the past couple of weeks, and admittedly, I'm a little shocked that it won. Not because it's bad or anything, but there's not a lot of meat on this bone. This is that chicken wing in the basket that you're like, this chicken was through some shit before we ate the wings. Like, there's not a lot on there. Still a very cool game though. I liked it. Very great graphics. The final boss is a cheap pile of shit, but other than that, it was a fun game. I've been looking forward to talking about it, as has my buddy Chris, who's my guest this week. Chris is a lifelong Sega kid, a card-carrying Saturnian, and he has great memories of growing up kicking those little Keebler elf-looking characters to steal their magic. My memories of Golden Axe may not be lifelong, But I always say the coolest thing about Remember the Game is discovering retro games that I missed back in the day, and this is definitely one of them. Is it the best game I ever played? Nah. But it looks nice, it plays well, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. And that is 3 massive pluses in my book. And we'll get to all that in just a minute, because speaking of overstaying something's welcome, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun! And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. Listen, our intros are kind of long. They're about 30 minutes, but they're fun. We talk about video games and stuff. It's not just me talking about what I had for lunch or anything like that. And if you want to fire up Golden Axe while you're listening to it, you might be able to sneak 2 runs in during the length of the infamous intro. If you do want to skip it, go about 30 minutes up the road, you hear music, we'll be into Golden Axe, blah, 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 blah. I got to get my plugs out of the way quickly. It's how we keep the bills on around here. We have merch. There's hoodies, there's t-shirts, there's coffee mugs, there's posters, there's all kinds of stuff, all rocking badass art designed by my man Joe from 4545creative.com. You can find our merchandise at rememberthegamepodcast.com. If you're interested, it's a great way to support the little guy. And of course, if you don't like clothes, I get it. You can always just support us on Patreon, because our subscriptions on Patreon start at $2 a month, and you can get yourself up to 4 ad-free extra podcasts each week. Every second Monday, Mark McHugh and I do Purple Monkey Dishwasher, our Simpsons podcast, where we review episodes, and it's a nice change of pace from talking about video games so much. Every Tuesday, I drop The Rambling Idiot, where I talk about my comedy career, TV, movies, sports, whatever's on my mind. Every Friday, I do Game Patch, which is my modern gaming news show, where I talk about the biggest stories in modern games, talk about new releases, give you sales picks, etc. And Expansion Pass drops every Thursday, and that's a different gaming show every week. We do rankings. We go back at characters, consoles, generations, genres, franchises. There's some comedy episodes. There's a fucking ton of modern game reviews in there. And this past week on Expansion Pass, it was episode 159, and it was one of those modern game reviews. I talked Resident Evil 4 Remake. This review is spoiler-free, as most of my reviews are, so you don't have to worry about anything getting ruined for you. Outstanding game. Easily my front runner for Game of the Year at this point. Maybe the best Resident Evil I've ever played. I've always said my top 3 Resident Evils were Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 7, and Resident Evil 4. And now that I've played Resident Evil 4 Remake, I need to let it simmer for a little bit, digest, but it might be my new favorite Resident Evil game ever. And as is becoming tradition, here is a sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass, my Resident Evil 4 Remake review. I've had a lot of people, not a lot, but I've had people that wrote into the show or commented on social media saying, like, it looks nice, but I'm not paying full price for better graphics, like for a remaster. And I understand that point of view. Last of Us Part 1 is that. It's not worth full price, quite frankly. Unless you've never played it and you want to play the best possible version, it's not worth full price. In my opinion, this is. And that comes from somebody that has played, I don't know Resident Evil 4 like the back of my hand, but I've played it half a dozen times. And I own it on the Switch. I think it's on PS Plus. Like, I could play the original Resident Evil 4 anytime I want. But now that I've played this one, don't look at it as just like, oh, it's just better graphics. It's not that. The controls are better. The story is better. They've added more cutscenes. They've expanded the universe at times. There was a little bit of stuff that was cut. They've added some side quests and stuff like that. And I think overwhelmingly they improved what they left in. The stuff they added makes the game better. And I'm not really missing the stuff that they removed. So that's now available in our archives. And this week, it's Expansion Pass 160. And the topic was up to our Patreons, as is the final episode of the month. And gaming worlds we'd most and least like to live in came out on top. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow on Expansion Pass. So again, subscriptions start at $2 a month. You get new ad-free podcasts every week, instant access to hundreds of archived ad-free podcasts you can just add to your phone and listen to whenever you want. Plus, you get to join our Remember the Game Discord, which is, I think, over 1,000 members now. You get a chance to vote in our Patreon polls every month. The Super Nintendo Survivor poll is running right now. The ability to submit comments to be read on our shows. You can DM with me. You get discounts on our merch. And you even get a shout-out and get to hear me mispronounce your name, like I'm about to do to most of these people. A huge thank you to our newest patrons: Aaron Hagland, Mike Sogard, Guillaume T. Mailhot. I hope I said that right. I went by Guillaume that Tendresse. I hope I said that right. Adam Zarobiak. Dude, that's such a cool Adam last name. Zarobiak? Man. Maximus Violence. Alistair Downs. Magpie I. Pierce. Dante O'Dunkesenler. Sorry, Dante. Nismaster Bater. That's fake. I bet you that's fake. Ryan McWilliams, Paul Moyes, Ragatucci, C-Tins, Wazzles, Dominic Murray, Jeff Yamada, Lemmy C. Demnuts. That sounds real. Jeremy Jones, Taylor Haynes, and Jetstopia. Thank you all so much for the support and welcome to Remember the Game Industries, patreon.com/rememberthegame. And to wrap up the sales pitch, 5% of our Patreon income gets donated to charity at the end of the year from part of my 24-hour stream for the Stoller Children's Hospital here at Edmonton. And we offer annual subs. You sign up for the whole year, you get your 12th month for the low price of free. So check that out. And finally, you can find me on Twitch if you ever feel like coming. I haven't been on there much lately, but I have some comedy this weekend, and then my comedy is basically dead for the summer. I'll be on Twitch more often. Twitch.tv/rememberthegame. It's free. Come by, toss me a follow. It'll tell you when I'm online, and then you can come by and argue with me. It's good times. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our patrons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Last Ancient, who wrote in and said, I was playing Mega Man 6 the other day. Good game. Actually, yeah, Mega Man 6 is all right. The way Rush turns into your armor is weird, but it's still Mega Man. And I had a thought, and I was curious of your opinion, Mr. Blank. What do you think about a third-person Mega Man game that is treated as a modern roguelike? My first thought was Risk of Rain 2, but with Mega Man. Make changes to it to make more Mega Man-like, but I think there could be a great Mega Man game there. And if you haven't played Risk of Rain 1 or 2, I strongly suggest them. So I looked up Risk of Rain to see what you're talking about. Yeah, Mega Man in that style would be fucking cool. Like a Returnal style Mega Man game. That'd be kind of dope. I was going to say, I have been pounding the fucking Mega Man roguelike drum for some time, and people kept telling me to play 20XX. And when I got my hands on a Steam Deck, that was actually the first game I played on it. I finally decided to try 20XX. And it is a rogue, but it's like an old school 2D side-scrolling roguelike Mega Man style game, and it's really cool. My only beef with 20XX is I think the Robot Masters are kind of lame, but it's a really, really fun game. So after playing that, I'm even more gung-ho. Admittedly, after looking at Risk of Rain, I wouldn't say no to that like PlayStation over-the-shoulder third-person style game. I like my 2D 16-bit side-scrolling Mega Mans better myself. But beggars, you know what? At this point, if they do something for Mega Man, fucking beggars can't be choosers. I would play that. I think it looks like I think it's a cool idea. It's interesting that you were playing Mega Man 6. That's fascinating to me. Thanks, Last Ancient, for writing in. I'd play that. Rob Mason wrote in and said, hey, Adam, what are your favorite sports teams? You often talk about loving sports, but who do you root for? And that's going to tie into a question from Magpie Eye Pierce, who says, hey, Adam, haven't heard you talk about the Rays' historically good start to the season. If they make it to the World Series this year, would you go down to Tampa to watch a game and get high on bath salts with Florida Man and the 16 other guys who root for the Rays? So to answer Rob's question first, obviously I'm a big Tampa Bay Rays fan in baseball. People ask me why all the time. When I first started semi-paying attention to baseball, I picked up a game for my PS1 and had to pick a team to play as, and the Tampa Bay Rays were the worst team in the game, and they were the Devil Rays with that awesome, like, purple-green neon logo, and I thought it looked cool, and I just kind of stuck with them, and now I think they're, like, the coolest story in sports. So the Tampa Bay Rays, I'm a Denver Broncos fan, and I like the Montreal Canadiens. And hate on me if you will. And then I don't really have a basketball team. I'll say the Bulls. Just because I don't know. Why not? Let's go with the Charlotte Hornets. Do they still exist? Yes, let's go. Because I remember seeing those starter jackets and think they look cool. So I'll go with the Hornets. Anyways, so those are the teams I cheer for. And to answer Magpie Eye Pierce's question, if the Rays make the World Series, would I go to Tampa to watch a game and get high on bath salts? I would definitely try to get down to Tampa for a World Series game. I would not try the bath salts, I don't think. Maybe. We'll see if they win or lose. When the Rays made the World Series during the pandemic and they played the Dodgers, I wanted to go so bad. But then they played that series in San Diego with no fans in the park, and it fucking sucked. Especially because the fucking Rays lost. Fuck the Dodgers, by the way. So, yeah, if they were to make it into the World Series, I've been to the Trop before. I'm always looking for an excuse to go back. If the Rays make the World Series, yes, I will fucking go. And I'll rock an Arozarena jersey and lose my fucking mind, and it'll be awesome. 20-3. At the time that I'm recording this, the Rays are 20-3. Fuck you. Wazzles wrote in and said, do you play pretty much every single game that comes out? Or do you stick to the huge titles like Elden Ring, Tears of the Kingdom, etc.? No, I don't play every game that comes out. I just play the stuff that interests me. And because like I spend more of my time playing old stuff. than new stuff. And I'm going to follow up on that a minute here with a question from Max Renault. But I play more retro stuff than current stuff. So when I'm playing something modern, it's just got to be something that interests me. I never played Elden Ring. You mentioned that as like one of the big games. I never played Elden Ring. I just doesn't interest me. I never played Hogwarts Legacy because I don't know anything about Harry Potter. I think for new games this year, I've played Hi-Fi Rush. I've played Dead Space Remake. I played Resident Evil 4 Remake. I'm playing Advance Wars Reboot Camp right now. And then I'm playing EA Sports PGA Tour. But no, not even close to playing everything. I just play either stuff that I'm interested in or stuff that I think would make a good review on Expansion Pass. I kind of pick and choose. I'm definitely playing Tears of the Kingdom without question. I wasn't that sold on Tears till that last trailer, and that scratched me right where I itch. Now I'm interested. Thanks for writing in, Wazzles. Max Renault wrote in and said, Happy Friday, Adam. It's fucking Tuesday, Max. Quick question, probably asked before. How do you keep up with all these games? With personal life, comedy shows, and the podcast, how do you find time to play 30-plus hour games and not take months to complete them? I tend to stick to older games where the single player is usually less than 10 hours long, and then I can move on. I only have my fiance and work and still find little time to play. How do you do it? What's the secret sauce? Thanks, and stay awesome, man. Max, there is no secret sauce. It often takes me months to play 30-plus hour games as well. I've been playing Dark Cloud for over a week, and I've barely scratched the surface. Like, I'm hoping to get that in before episode 250. I'm not 100% sure it's going to happen, but I'm going to try. I do 5 podcasts a week, if you count Purple Monkey Dishwasher, and then I do stand-up on the weekends, and then I have a social life, and I, have a girlfriend, and I have a dog, and I try to exercise, and I probably, on a given day, like if it's a weekend and I have nothing going on, I'll try to settle in and do a good 6-7 hours of gaming, but during the week, I probably play about 2 hours a day. Probably not a lot different than the way most of you play when you get home from work and you chill out. So, yeah, when I get a big game on the backlog, it does take me a long time to play through it. So, to be honest, I guess that's my answer, Max. There is no secret sauce. I am just very fucking slow. I am slow just like the rest of you. I do skip if a game's not really tickling my pickle, I'll skip a lot of the side content and just stick to the main stuff. A game's got to really get its claws in me to get me to go off the beaten trail because I'm trying to beat as many games as I can. 1600 Doctor wrote in, the B is for bargain, and said, Hi, Mr. Blank, or maybe it's for blank. Growing up, I've always owned Nintendo consoles and handhelds. I've never owned an Xbox, a PlayStation, and so forth, and I'm not a PC master racer either. I enjoyed catching up on Remember the Game episodes and have all the Nintendo-based ones wrapped, so I want to ask, is there a specific non-Nintendo episode of Remember the Game that immediately comes to mind as being in your S tier of all-time favorites that I should listen to first? Any combination of reasons from the game to the guest to the jokes told is legit ski. Cheers. So that's a tough question, Doctor. And I promise you this is not like a false humility. I hate like 90% of the shit I've put out. I think most of my podcasts suck. I think I suck. I'm not kidding. Like, so to be like, this is the best episode of the show, I think all of these episodes suck. Minus the interviews. I like the interview episodes. But so I don't know if I can suggest an episode based on the discussion I had, because I do so many of these that they kind of go in one ear and out the other, and I hate most of them. But if I'm picking just a couple of games I would recommend that were non-Nintendo that I would go back and listen to, I will say Portal was one of the best games I ever played. We covered that right at the end of last year. Sly Cooper is fucking awesome. We covered that one about a year ago, I think. Dead Space we covered last year. I think that is a must play for everybody. Shadow of the Colossus was a really cool fucking game, and we covered that one a little while ago. And I want to throw a Sega game in there. You know what? Either if you want to go old school, go Streets of Rage 2. If you want to go a little bit more modern, go with Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast. Yeah, that's a good list. That's a good place to start. I think those are all fucking excellent games that I would highly recommend you listen to and then find a way to play them. Grab a fucking, I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and be like, grab a new system. But I mean, like, we're all on finite budgets. If you've got the extra cash, Doctorb, look, check out, you can get a lot of games on the dirt cheap if you can just get over the hump of the initial investment on a console. Like the Xbox Series S with Game Pass, or a PS5, even digitally with just PS Plus Extra. And you have so much to play, you'll be busy for a long fucking time. Dante Odonkis-Senler. Sorry, Dante. Wrote in and said, "What's up, Adam? I'm just getting back into gaming at 28 years old, and I can remember some of the most fun I ever had being on handheld devices. What is your favorite handheld device, and what was your favorite game to play on said device? For me, it was Tekken on the GBA. If you've never played it, give it a try. Thanks for the dope podcast." Well, thanks for being a dope Patreon, Dante. You know what? Considering I'm a Nintendo fanboy, I don't know if this will shock anybody or not, but my favorite handheld device is the Vita. I think the Vita was fucking so ahead of its time. And I think that their horrible idea of making you buy proprietary memory cards instead of just being able to use SD cards was a horrible decision that fucked that console before it even got started. But my favorite handheld device is the Vita. And I know it's a lame pick, but my favorite game to play on it was Minecraft or MLB The Show 12 or 13. I played both those games. I put so many hours in. I don't even want to know how much time I sunk into those two games on my Vita. The Vita was such a great little console. So yeah, I know it's a lame pick, but I'll go with that. Fuck yeah. I love the Vita. JD Robert says, "Hey Adam, first time commenter. I subscribed after listening to the NES draft episode. I know this is random, but did you watch the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers growing up?" Well, thank you for subscribing, JD. Appreciate you. I did watch Power Rangers, but only up to about the end of the Green Ranger arc. Like when Tommy lost his, I guess spoilers, when Tommy lost his powers, I checked out around then. I wasn't watching when they brought in the new, who left? The Red Ranger. It was Jason, Trini, and Zach, I think. Red, Yellow, and Black Rangers. I think those were the three that left the original crew. I wasn't watching when the new three Rangers were brought on. I didn't see Tommy become the White Ranger and become the new leader. I was gone by that point. It was like right at the cusp. I was right just barely getting to that age where I didn't want to watch that stuff anymore. But I still say, and I think most people would agree, the fucking original Green Ranger arc is like some of the best TV ever. Fuck you. It's up there with Sopranos and stuff. It was so good. But that was about the time I stopped watching. Thank you. I am going to watch that new special on Netflix, though. It looks awesome. And Billy's my favorite Power Ranger because he's the Donatello of the Power Rangers. So I want to watch that. Thank you for writing in, JD. And we got to move on. But before we do, it's letter time. It's letter time. Gordon Fiskin wrote in and said, "Hey, Adam, similar question to one you got asked recently, but changed a little bit. If you had to pick between gaming Gens 3, 4, and 5, or Gens 6, 7, and 8, which would you keep and which would you lose forever?" So if you don't know, everybody, I made sure I Googled this to make sure I knew there's a lot of power. If I'm killing off 3 generations of systems, I wanted to make sure I knew what I was talking about. Generations 3, 4, through 5 was the NES era up to like the Nintendo 64, PS1 era. And Generation 6, 7, and 8 was the PS2, Xbox, GameCube, Dreamcast, up to the PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch. So, oh man. Now, I know I'm overthinking this. Would I rather play up to the Nintendo 64, PS1, or the PS2 to the PS4 eras? If I'm not erasing the games, but just the hardware, then I'm going to play Generation 6 through 8 because my Switch alone scratches my NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64 itch. I have so many games on there, I'm good. So if I'm not erasing the games, then I'm going to go that way. Plus, I've played so much NES, Super Nintendo. I know there's still lots back there I missed, but there's more I've missed in the PS2, PS3, Xbox, you know, the last 3 generations. But if we're erasing everything, the games and the hardware, then mock me if you will. I'm going to 3, 4, 5, and I'll keep playing the old ones forever. And the new ones can disappear because if I erase those old games, then I erase my job, and then I have to go back to Uline. And I can't let that happen. I won't let that happen, and I can't let that happen. So that's my answer. And I know I kind of went through a loophole there, but I think it plays. So thank you for the question, Gordon. Thank you to everybody that wrote in as always. We need to move on. Let's get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. It is Play 1, Remake 1, Erase 1. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our patrons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. I'm holding my fingers up as I'm counting those off, even though none of you can see it. I don't know. I guess I'm a hand talker. Anyways, the comedian in me makes me a hand talker. Anyway, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get there in just a minute. This week, since we're talking Golden Axe, I went with 3 more beat-em-ups. Not Genesis exclusives necessarily, but I wanted 3 that were in roughly the same class, and I thought these were all based on big IPs and sounded fun. We have Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage, Battletoads and Double Dragon, and Ninja Turtles Hyperstone Heist. And 38% said they would play Hyperstone Heist, remake Maximum Carnage, and erase Battletoads and Double Dragon, which is the wrong answer. Let me see what a few of you had to say here, then I'll tell you what the right answer was. There are no wrong answers, but that is the wrong answer. Keith Rolla said, I'll play Hyperstone Heist because I haven't, and obviously Ninja Turtles are the shit. I'll remake Battletoads and Double Dragon because I played this game a lot as a kid, and some updated graphics and online co-op would be really cool, which means I will erase Maximum Carnage. I hate to do it, but them's the rules. Now, I was going to light you up a little bit, Keith Rolla, for being like, you're erasing fucking Maximum Carnage? Are you kidding me? But you're far from the only one. I'm shocked that how many people are erasing Maximum Carnage. And all of you, you're not dead to me, but I've lost your numbers. I'm a little bit disappointed in some of you. Mark Sneed wrote in and said, damn it, this one is painful. I'm going to play Maximum Carnage as I enjoyed it and it looks like a comic book come to life. I'm going to remake Battletoads and Double Dragon since the individual remakes they have released are pretty good. And I know I'm going to potentially get put in quadruple secret probation in a deep pit for this, but I have to erase Ninja Turtles Hyperstone Heist. Turtles in Time and Shredder's Revenge are both vastly superior. I'm going to go cry now while listening to my Shaq Fu CD. Yes, it was a pack-in when I got it on the Genesis, and yes, I still have it. You're not going to get put on secret probation for erasing Hyperstone Heist, because you're right. Turtles in Time and Shredder's Revenge are both vastly superior. But you are getting single secret probation for listening to a fucking Shaq Fu CD, Mark. Jesus Christ. It's like $10 a month. Go steal some music off the internet or something. Why would you listen to the fucking Shaq Fu CD? Get out of my house. Robert wrote in and said, play Turtles. It's Turtles, so it's always good. Remake, that's fair. Remake Battletoads and Double Dragon because it would be nice with a new game with... It'd be nice with a new game with those guys. Oh, with those guys. I didn't read that properly. I got you. Well, okay. If you could see how it was spelled, you'd understand. Remake Battletoads and Double Dragon because it would be nice with a new game with those guys. And then erase Spider-Man. I hate superheroes. They have almost killed Hollywood. What? I mean, I don't know a lot about movies, so I'm not going to sit here and criticize someone's take on movies. I love superhero movies. But I'm sure that, yeah, I guarantee you that does piss some movie junkies off. Fair enough. You can't erase Spider-Man, Robert. Jesus. Trent barely has time to game. Says, play Maximum Carnage because I'm sure he'll end up in a new Spider-Man game soon. Remake Ninja Turtles even though there's a Ronin game in the works. A 4-player modern game will be so fucking sweet. Erase Double Toads because one has to go. You know what? Trent barely has time to game. You'd have more time to game if you didn't spend your time writing in erasing fucking Battletoads. You fucking weirdo. And G Money says, play Double Dragon and Battletoads. No other reason than nostalgia. Remake Maximum Carnage. I'm a sucker for the symbiotes, and I think it would be awesome in a Spider-Man style remake. And it might be risking double secret probation, but rules are rules. Erase TMNT. No, you're not going to get in trouble at all, G Money. That's the right answer. I'm going with 17% of you, the runner-up option, including G Money and Standard Ass Brian, who said play Battletoads and Double Dragon because I've only ever played them separately on the NES. Remake Maximum Carnage, although I've never played it either. Spider-Man is just more appealing to me than the Toads. And erase Hyperstone Heist. I love the Turtles more than Spider-Man, but this game is a lesser version of games I've played before. Frankly, I'd rather play an NES Ninja Turtles game. I don't disagree with that either. That's the right answer. I myself would play Battletoads and Double Dragon because I love the Battletoads, but I've never played this one. I'm going to remake Maximum Carnage because all of you that said it are right. If you were to remake the Maximum Carnage storyline in the Spider-Man PS4, PS5 style engine, that would be sex. And I'm hoping that's what we get for Spider-Man 3. If Venom's in Spider-Man 2, bring on Carnage in Spider-Man 3. And then I'm going to erase Hyperstone Heist because as much as I love the Turtles, that's a poor man Turtles in Time. And it's not very good. There you go. I agree with all of you that said that. Thank you, everyone that wrote in, as always. Let me tell you what I've been playing. I'll do that in just a second after we pause for me to drink some water and we hear a quick word from one of our sponsors. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Everyone that listens to this podcast knows about our illustrious CEO, my dog Molly. But the other silent partner behind the scenes is my wife. And let me tell you, my friends, a 17-year relationship with another person that has to talk to and live with you is a lot harder to maintain than one with a dog. We've had our ups and downs, and as you all know, a relationship isn't all sunshine and rainbows. They can be a lot of work. You get out what you put in when it comes to relationships, and talking to a therapist can be a fantastic way to put in some work. They can help you work through your issues, learn to communicate better, and even just provide you with an ear to bend when you need it. I've talked to my therapist about my relationships, especially when it came to my stand-up comedy career and how much I was away from home, and they helped me work on ways to keep my relationship strong even when I was out on the road. It turned out our relationship was actually better when I was out on the road, but that's a story for another day. And I know, right? Therapy. Who has the time these days? BetterHelp hears you, and they're making it easy. Fill out a quick form online, and they'll match you up with a therapist that suits your needs and that'll work around your schedule. You pick the meet times, and you can get your therapy fix from anywhere, over video, phone, or just chat. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/rememberthegame today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, what have I been playing over the last week? Mostly nothing. I was in Banff for the weekend up in the mountains with my girlfriend. I wasn't playing a lot of video games. But in case you're wondering what I have been playing some EA Sports PGA Tour. Really loving that game. I have been playing Metroid 2 for the Game Boy. Probably going to cover that next week. I have been playing Dark Cloud from the PS2 on the PS5 via the PS4 version on PS Plus. I'm not too far in yet, but it seems like a cool game. And then I've been playing Advance Wars Reboot Camp. I never played Advance Wars back in the day. I've always wanted to. I'm really enjoying it. I'm not gonna review it on Expansion Pass because I can't compare it to the original versions of Advance Wars because I never played them. But Advance Wars will get an episode of Remember the Game once I'm done playing the first one on Reboot Camp. Really liking it. Really, really cool game. So yeah. Lots of fun games. I'm playing lots of fun stuff right now. And I have been playing Golden Axe. There was your segue that I should have done. So let's talk about that game. That's why we're here, right? As always, I like to give you nerds a chance to sound off before my guest and I hug the microphone. Chad Christopherson. That seems like such a fake name for some reason. And I mean it. I don't know why. Wrote in and said, bought it when I was 7 and beat it the first night I brought it home. However, my favorite beat 'em up. It's my favorite beat 'em up ever. Sort of a weird magic system and some annoying enemies, but pure nostalgia dripping into my veins. See, I get how people that played this growing up are nostalgic as shit for it. I played it for the first time in April of 2023, and it's not terrible, but I definitely think nostalgia makes it better. It's good? I think nostalgia makes it great. I'll tell you more about what I think in a minute. Raul wrote in, hey, what is up, Raul? And said, oh man, I have fond memories of this game. As a kid, I used to go to a mini mart close to my house that had an arcade version of Golden Axe. I would spend all my small allowance on it. Eventually, I started to get pretty good. The store owner's son, who was a bit younger than me, would start hanging out to watch me play. One day, I finally beat it on about $2 worth of quarters. We both celebrated, and I felt like I had a fan cheering me on. The Genesis port was also good. I only played the Genesis version. I would fucking love to play the arcade version. Next time I see this in an arcade, I'm going to try it because I got to see how this handles. Hank Scorpio wrote in and said, meh. It's an earlier Genesis beat 'em up that was far surpassed by later Genesis beat 'em ups in just about every way. It's very meh. It's the Altered Beast of beat 'em ups. I mean, we compare it to Altered Beast because it's from the same mind and everything. I actually think I like Altered Beast a little bit more. But it's good. It is meh, but it's a good meh. It's not like it's a bad meh. Ace McGuy says, me and my buddy used to play the hell out of this game. I don't think we ever beat it, but we loved beating the enemies to a pulp on here and riding the creatures. We'd fight over who got to play as the dude with the sword as well. Yeah, that's fair. Dude, you'll never beat it because the final boss is a cheap pile of shit. And Phantom Owl says, Golden Axe turned into a turned up in a Jug City convenience store by my home when I was a kid, and I threw in every quarter I could get my hands on, all the while the always angry convenience store worker eyeing us up suspiciously. Skipping class and playing this with my school chums was extremely fun, riding the creature mounts, listening to that super catchy background music. This one has become one of my top 30 games of all time. Playing as a horned helmet-wearing dwarf named Gilius Thunderhead was a huge bonus. Gilius Thunderhead would be a great porno name. Yeah, dude, I like the dwarf too. It's a fun game. Let's talk about it. Why not? Hey, this is not going to be the longest episode ever. There's not a lot of meat on this bone. But my buddy Chris and I managed to scrape together an episode, and I get it. I'm a little shocked that it won the poll, but I get why so many of you Patreon nerds love this game as much as you did. Let's talk about it. I'm going to cue up some music. There it is. And when it stops, my buddy Chris and I are going to take another look back at Golden Axe, which originally released in arcades in May of 1989 and on the Sega Genesis on December 22nd, 1989. I love talking about games from the 80s. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. All right, so joining me via the blank phone this week to talk about our Patreon poll winner from February, because I'm fucking slow. Let's be honest, there's no excuse for me to have taken so long with this because this game is about 3 minutes long. Joining me on the blank phone to talk about it is one of the biggest Sega fans I know, a card-carrying, flag-waving Saturnian, my buddy Chris. How's it going, buddy?
Took you 3 minutes to do this? Were you playing with one hand?
Yeah, no shit. I paused halfway through to get a snack. You and I were just talking about this off air before we started recording. This might be the shortest game we've ever covered on Remember the Game. I like, it's good. I assume you like it. I like it.
Oh yeah, I remember playing this as a kid and thinking like, wow, what an epic adventure. And now it's pretty much half a sitcom nowadays to play through this. So
yeah, it's nothing. I wanted to say, like, before we get into talking about the game and everything, I'm a little shocked that this won the Patreon poll. I'm not upset. I liked it. Don't take it as like I'm about to go Scorched Earth, Echo the Dolphin or anything on this game. It's a fine game. But it was in a lineup against like 7 other Genesis games, and I'm constantly getting asked to cover more Genesis. This game beat Castlevania Bloodlines, Road Rash 2, Rocket Knight Adventure, Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, Beavis and Butthead, Kid Chameleon, and Comic Zone. I'm just, you grew up, like, I assume you said you played this growing up, right? Like, you were a Genesis kid. You played it growing up.
Oh yeah, between this and arcades.
Right. So I just ask, as someone that played it for the first time in April of 2023, like, was this that big of game back then? Like, how did this win that poll? Again, not complaining, but how did this win that poll? It's just so basic.
I loved it as a beat 'em up back in the day, though. It was like, now I think it's the Venn diagram of nostalgia and comfort food, but
I know what
like
that is now.
When...
Mark taught me what a Venn diagram is. That's the circles.
More you know.
Now I know. Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
Well, I just remember back in the arcade, though, when you were around the cabinet and it was just blaring music and you threw your magic up in there and just started rumbling. And
yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know, it's a neat little game. Like, okay, because so in the last few months I've played this, and then I also played, what's the other one now? I'm suddenly blanking on it. It's a lot like this. Oh, come on. Damn it. Where you get like power up, Altered Beast, Altered Beast, which is similar to this, in some ways. And when I say similar, I just mean that they're like the most basic, slow moving beat 'em ups of all time, but they look really good. Like, you can see that like these like this must have been an arcade game first, that then got ported to the Genesis. Yeah. And like, I will say, dude, just sitting there playing it, and this is an old Genesis game, and I was like, this looks better than a lot of Super Nintendo stuff. Like, it's a really good looking video game. I'm just, yeah, like, I don't even, like, just, like, does it make sense? Like, I'm not trying to be, like, rude. I'm not dunking on it. I think it's a cool game. I'm just a little shocked that this was what won. Like, I guess this is a big deal to Genesis fans. Because even when I posted we were going to talk about it, people were excited.
Yeah, like, it's pure Sega, like, side-scroll arcade game ported home. Like, I think it was a showcase probably when the Genesis launched.
Sure. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those games that, like, if I'd had it as a kid, like, it would have been fun, and I would have played it. I guess you would have played it over and over again because it was the game you had.
Yeah.
But, and you probably weren't going to beat it. Like you said, like, what were you saying when we started recording this? How long is a watch of a playthrough of this on YouTube? Like 15 minutes?
I think like 15 minutes, and then like a minute of that is just showing them cycling through like the characters in the opening screen.
Right. So like, it's not a long game, but I will tell you, I've been playing it on the Switch on Genesis Online, and I've been playing it fair and square, no save states or anything. I can't beat it. Like, I've gotten to the final boss like 3 times and just gotten fucking wrecked by that Death Adder guy that just uses magic spells every 5 fucking seconds. We'll get into that, but like, for a 15-minute game, I'm like, it's 3 players, or there's 3 characters. You can play it 2-player, I believe. I never did.
I think so.
Because I don't have any friends here. It's a fun little game. I don't know. If you've never played it, all it is, guys, is there's this bad guy, Death Adder or whatever the fuck its name is, who's just like taking over it's like he kidnapped the king, he kidnapped the king's daughter, and he's killing everybody. He's got a golden axe, and you just set out as one of 3 heroes to beat up bad guys and stop them. And it is like the most classic beat 'em up. Like listen, would you call it a beat 'em up? I guess like hack and slash beat 'em up. I guess
it's the like one of the first ones in every sense of those words.
Yeah.
Like it's very rudimentary.
Like, don't go into this expecting, Streets of Rage 2 or something like that. Like it is fucking slow, but it's neat. I don't know. I liked it. Like, I don't even know how long this episode is going to be because there's not a lot of meat on the bone to talk about, but it's a fun little game. I'll ask you, Chris, who's your character? Because you've got the barbarian, you've got the dwarf, and then you have the, what's her name? Like an empress? Like, I don't know what she's called.
Is she an Amazon maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm looking right now. Yeah, 'cause I don't want to use the wrong. Yeah, Amazon killed it. Yes, Amazon. So, who was your preference? The barbarian, the Amazon, or the dwarf?
Well, I'm not the barbarian because I'm mad they ripped off my likeness in the future.
He does look a lot like you.
Yeah.
they clearly they added some fat, to him in the game.
If they took you and I, we could be his legs maybe, but
yeah, no shit. Fuck. And none of us has
I was
hair
usually
like
the dwarf.
The dwarf? Now, I'll ask why. Just because he looks cool, or because they do actually each play a little bit different.
I liked his magic.
What? Sorry, what's that?
I thought he looked cool and I liked his magic.
Yeah, and that was what I liked about it was that each so again, going back to Altered Beast, you just played as the one guy and you turn into different animals and whatever. But in this one, the barbarian's magic fucking sucks. The Amazon has insane magic, but it takes forever for it to fill up. And then the dwarf had cool magic too. But I like that each of them, even though they basically play the same, there's a reason to go through and play it multiple times with each character. That's not something you saw. Listen, dude, I love the Ninja Turtle beat 'em ups, but all 4 turtles play exactly the same. There's, I don't know.
And this one predated that by a few years.
Yeah.
I think. This came out in '89.
Yeah.
Right when things are kind of getting started. So
I think that's fucking obviously by today's standards, you look at a beat 'em up and you're 3 players, 3 characters, but it's that was a big deal back then. And I like that all 3 of them. It's not even they're not just sprite swaps. They all look so distinct from each other. The dwarf is shorter and he's built he's built like me. And then the barbarian is this giant dude built like you. And then the Amazon, she's a beast and I like her magic. They did not spend many pixels on clothes.
No, sir, they did not.
On the Amazon, I was playing it and I was like, I'm a 39-year-old man, and I was like, you should put something on. You should. What is this? But
between her and the barbarian, though, there was something for everyone. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're into good-looking guys, you have the barbarian. If you're into attractive women, you have the Amazon. And if you like podcast hosts, then you can pick the dwarf. But even I don't know, they all have their basic. So that's what you do is you pick a character and then you just start the level and then you just basically go from left to right, beating up everything that moves, and that's really it. But I think the only defining traits they each had was their magic, and then I think they each had a special attack. But I tried all 3 special attacks, and all 3 fucking sucked. Or maybe I suck. I don't know.
Yeah, for me it was just the hack and slash and the magic. I didn't really pay much attention to any special attacks.
No, and even the hack and slash, dude. I don't know when the last time you played this was. Once you get into the final few levels, I found the only attack I could make work was the dash charge.
Yeah, body check dash kind of thing.
Yeah, because if I tried to get close enough to anybody and hit them with my weapon, they'd end up hitting me first and just knocking me down. Or sending me across the screen. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not very good, but I just found myself completely reliant on that dash. Because you'd hit them and knock them backwards.
Yeah, I'd find a mount and hold on for dear life a lot of the time. And
one of the things you could ride?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the other thing, bro. Anyone that's played a lot of beat 'em ups knows that one of the things you want to avoid is getting surrounded. And I don't know if it's I mean, I guess it is AI, but the enemies in this game are very good at surrounding you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's because it was an arcade port and they're designed to kill you to get more quarters. But they fucking surround you. Like, the only choice is to get your back against, like, the edge of the screen or something. Like, it's like, I don't know about you, but, like, I'll spend half of a playthrough just running to the left side of the screen and body checking someone, then running to the right side and body checking, then running to the left and running to the like, because, like, again, they just, once they get their hands on you, you're fucked. They can drain your health in, like, 5 seconds if they get a hold of you. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not very good. I found this game incredibly difficult.
Yeah, and there's no weak characters either. It seems like they all seem to be relatively buffed up, and
Like the playable ones or the enemies?
the enemies.
Oh, dude, yeah. There's no one-hit kills or anything. Like,
No.
like, I want to make it clear, like, every time I've played it, I've gotten to the final boss. It's just I can't beat that final boss. But it's like the first 2 or 3 levels are, like, pretty easy. And then just all of a sudden they decide, like, all right, you know how to play now. And then when I finally looked up the manual, I saw that if you hit attack like 4 or 5 times in a row, you'll drop like a combo, which I understood already because you get a hold of an enemy and you beat them up. But like if you accidentally, and again, this is probably a product of the times, if you miss like your collision detection on one of your attacks, you're just stuck standing there with your pants down and the enemies just start hammering you and they drop the exact same combos on you. It's insane. I don't know. I like, can you beat it? Like, I can't beat it. I'm not good.
I don't think I ever beat it. No.
The final boss
Same
is
thing. I
cheap.
remember getting to Death Adder before, but
Yeah, I'll rant about him. He's a cheap piece of shit. You mentioned the animals you can ride too. I actually, same thing. Like, the only problem with it is like you get a hold of one and like you get a hold of like the first one, I think, is like the lizard that spins its tail. And if those enemies, like, you've got to be on the ball because, again, they'll surround you and they'll knock you off. And what I actually really like is the AI is not stupid. Like, they'll knock you off, and then if one of them sees a chance to get on, they're getting back on that thing. And like, I know that sounds dumb, but like, that's a big deal. A lot of games, the enemies aren't that smart. Like, I don't know if it's easier to design enemies when your only focus is making sure kids put more quarters into the game. I don't know.
Classic Sega.
Yeah,
They're ahead of their time with AI.
Yeah, they are ahead of their time with fucking AI. And those, don't even get me started on those fucking skeletons. Those sons of bitches. And then, like you said, each enemy or each character has magic too. And when I first started playing, I think the first one I played as was the Amazon, and her magic meter is like, I don't know, like 10 vials deep or something.
Oh yeah, I think it's the highest one.
Yeah, it is by a mile. Yeah, and I was like, oh wow. And then I started playing as one of the other characters, and like the dwarf's magic is like in the middle, and the barbarians is at the weakest. And I really like that. Like, the more, what would you call those vials? Like the blue magic jar things. The more of them you pick up, the more you fill up your meter, the more powerful your magic attack is. So then it kind of becomes that risk and reward of seeing how long you can hold on. And trying to fill it up because, dude, against some of the boss fights and shit in this game, I don't know how you'd beat them without magic because you can barely get close enough to them to hit them otherwise.
But oh man, it used to be satisfying when you'd have the full thing and you just throw them all in the air and just watch the screen explode. It was awesome. Yeah, dude, and like, fucking, let's be honest. Like, I've already praised the graphics of this game, but the magic attacks in this game look sick. Especially, I actually thought the Amazon with the fire. I thought she had the coolest, because when it was totally full, there were like dragons coming in and stuff. It was fucking insane. I thought it was rad. Yeah, same, like the dwarf and his lightning storm that would come and zap everything. I can't remember what the barbarians was. I don't remember either. He fucking sucks. I don't know. I thought he was the worst character. He was just boring. He's just a big dummy. But I liked it. Like, I like that system because, like, so the first couple of times I played the game, I was burning my magic like constantly because the game is fairly generous with the magic vials and stuff. The blue dwarves, or not dwarves, whatever they are always on the screen. Yeah, those little fucking elf guys. Yeah, I want to get into those because I love that you beat the shit out of them to collect magic from them. But at first I was like, I would use my magic all the time because I was like, well, it keeps giving you some. But then when I read the manual and realized it, like, oh, if you're controlling the Amazon and you have 3 magic bottles, you'll cast like a level 3 spell. But if you fill all your magic up, you'll cast like a level 9 spell, and it's fucking insane. And then I started to realize that, like, as long as you use some strategy, especially once you get into the later levels and you can knock enemies back into holes, and knock them off cliffs, they could become so easy to kill that it was like, I'm not burning my magic until I'm at boss fights.
Yeah.
Be like, I don't know. Again, maybe I'm just not very good, but I don't know how the fuck else you beat some of these bosses.
Yeah, that's pretty much how you deal with the characters. Knock them off the level, or use your mount to knock them off, or just use your mount to beat them fast anyway.
And even trying to knock the enemies off, they're very good at. I don't know if it's intentional. Yeah, like I don't know if it's intentional or not, but they're very good at either dodging or fucking getting around you. Like to get around them and get on the side of them where you can body check them and they'll bounce back into the hole instead of bouncing away from the hole. It can be very difficult to get on that side of them. Like, they're not stupid. It's frustrating almost. I was like, this is a goddamn game from 1989. You're not supposed to be smart yet. Fuck off. But, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, you mentioned the graphics. Like, I thought this game was so well animated. Like, all the three characters look different doing their thing. Like, there's scenes where villagers are running away from the enemies. The enemies are beating up on villagers and...
Yeah, agreed.
Everything in between. Like, it looked great.
Yeah, even when you start the game, each of the three characters like has their little monologue where they explain why they're like, they each have like a little backstory, and it's not a big deal, but it's enough to explain like a little bit of difference between each of the three of them. And I can't praise it enough. And listen, I have never come on here and not praised the Sega Genesis's graphics ever. I've always thought the games look so good. But I'm looking at something like this, and I'm like, dude, if I had played this in 1989 on a home console, this would have blown my fucking mind. Like this, like I'm playing it in 2023, and I'm like, this looks really good. Like 1989, this is like, remember, like we got the Turtles 2 port, like the arcade version, like Turtles 2, the arcade game on the NES, and I love that game as much as the next person. This, and admittedly, this game is a lot less ambitious than that game is, but Golden Axe looks better than the home version of Turtles the arcade game does.
Yeah.
Like, and I again, I understand it's a lot bigger. It's slow. Like we can talk, okay, because it is fucking slow. But it looks great. And that was what Sega was all about back then, right? Was being the cool kid and having the great graphics and everything. And to their credit, like their games looked fucking good, man. I can't.
Yeah, it didn't have the blast processing yet, so
the blast processing. Oh fuck. That's the greatest marketing ploy of all time. Like I would love to have played this on an arcade cabinet, man. I would have loved to have played this on I don't think I've ever even seen this in a fucking arcade.
I remember seeing it quite often. I know Arcade 1-Up has one now, but
do they?
That's a lot of money to play Golden Axe.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you're right. I'm looking at it right now. Oh my god, dude, that's a dope. But like, I can't bring myself to buy like a Ninja Turtles cabinet because I feel like I'd get bored. Not dunking on any of you that bought one. I'm jealous. I want one, but I'm like, fuck. I don't know how much I'd play it to justify the price. And you're right. Like Golden Axe, like, oh my god, that is a sharp looking cabinet. But I'm like, this is a fucking 10-minute game. Like, how many times can you fucking play this game?
$100 a minute.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know. It is. Fuck, that looks tight though. That's a good looking cabinet. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with everybody. Like, I don't think this is gonna be the longest episode. This is not a very big game, but y'all voted for it, and I do want to talk about. And I do have some gripes. Plus, I want to talk about kicking elves and stealing their meat and their magic. And we'll do all of that. We'll kick some elves in just a minute. I need to pause for a quick word from one of our sponsors. Hopefully, none of our current sponsors are elves, but we'll be right back. Okay, so we took a break for the fucking ad, and then Chris starts talking about all you do is you kick them, see, like, right? We're talking about the elves, but like that is what you do, and I love that like they don't even pull any punches about it. That those little elves run in, like the little Keebler elf guys, whatever the fuck they are, with the sacks over their bags that are full of their sacks over their shoulders that are full of magic or meat, and that is literally the animation you do as they run by. Like, there's not even, like, a joke about it. Like, you don't tickle them or anything. You just punt them. And then, like, some of their supplies fall out of their sack, and they keep smiling and running around like idiots. Or what does Homer say? You insult the guy, and he just keeps on grinning moroningly, or whatever the fuck it is that he says. But that is what it is, though. And I gotta say, Chris, even though those little elves can't hurt you, maybe the most satisfying part of this game is punting them as they run by.
Well, like you say, they're just so happy to be on the screen, and then you just give them a good boot, and their magic falls out, and
yeah, and like one of their magics, like, so that's how you pick up. I don't quote me, but I think that's the only way to get magic.
I think so, yeah.
Is to punt the elves and have them drop it. But you're right, like they just look like they look like they were, to me they feel like they were about to be cut, like from the initial design of the game, and then like maybe they were like the 4th playable character, and then they were like, these guys suck. And then somebody was like, let's just put them in and let the characters beat on them. And they were just like, we're not being cut. Sure, kick us. That's fine. And I love that not only do they run in during the levels, but between levels, your hero's like sleeping by the fire. And then they all like come running out like the underpants gnomes on South Park. And then you have to like wake up and kick them before they all get away.
You beat them up and they run off.
That's what they should call this game, is Elf Punter. Like it's just like it's the funnest part of the game. And then like so the blue ones drop the magic, and then occasionally you get the green ones that drop health. I don't know about you, but maybe it's because I'm not very good at this game. My top focus was always the health guys. Because
like this was old school health bars too. Like I think you had 3 hits or something like that and you were dead.
Yeah, and it wasn't, they didn't always disappear if you're getting hit once. But some enemies, it felt like they could just tee off on you and you would never lose any health. And then other enemies fucking sneezed on you. And like 2 of your health bars were gone. And this game was like there was no, like in some games, once you get hit, you get the invisibility for a couple seconds. Not in Golden Axe. Like you're fucking not even back up on your feet. And they're just pounding you again. Like maybe that bad guy was like the elf's dad or something and he's mad at you. But yeah, those health bars, like the way I was playing it on the Genesis version, you can turn it up to have 5 health instead of 3. And I was doing that at first and still couldn't beat it. But yeah, it's classic arcade game, right? Like it's gonna take your health fucking fast. And they don't give you a lot of chances to get it back. There's no pizzas laid around or anything. And so yeah, so the elves. So okay, so we've covered the elves, we've covered the graphics. I think we've pretty well covered the gameplay. Like the only other move I could think of that's kind of worth mentioning is the jump kick. But the problem is that you don't do like the 45-degree jump kick. You basically go straight up in the air, and then you need to
bring your weapon down.
Yeah, you need to land like your attack at the right time. And if you can do it, it helps. It knocks enemies back. But it can be a hard thing to land. I found it very difficult. Maybe again, I'm not very good. But I found it very hard to land the jump attacks.
Yeah, it was all timing the animation just so to hit right.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, and that's where I wanted to go. Like I want to get into like not so much the negatives, but the things about it that are frustrating. I think it's a product of the times, but the collision detection in this game is very wonky.
Yeah.
Like you said it's a lot of like learning the animations and knowing how far away to be to make an attack land and stuff like that. Because there were many instances where I thought I was hammering away on an enemy only to realize that none of my attacks were landing. But it looked like they were. And I know people are going to laugh at me, but do you know what I mean? Because it's so close.
Yeah.
Like the hitboxes and stuff, I mean. But once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. And again, you just end up going back to that shoulder tackle. And that's where I wanted to go as far as kind of like semi-criticisms. First of all, I understand it's an arcade game, but Chris, okay, this is a short fucking game. Like these levels could have been a little bit longer, I think.
Yeah, like because even in 1989, like it was one of the first beat 'em ups that came down the pipe, and not long after that final fight came out, and that game was probably twice as long, if not more.
Right. Yeah, like
and even twice as deep, I would say. So, like, I guess maybe it was just the first effort out, but
yeah, like I honestly don't know. Like I mean it. Like I don't know if the short levels are like a limitation of what arcade cabinets could do when it was released or what. I don't know. But like I've played quite a few beat 'em ups before, and like this one is not the worst by any stretch. But dude, there's some levels where like you fight like 5 enemies and then there's one bot and then it's over. Like it's like they're like a minute long. Yeah. I was shocked when I texted you to tell you I was getting ready to play it to get ready for the episode. Fuck, you made a comment. It was something like get ready for the best 15 minutes of your life or something like that. And it's true. I wish it was a little bit longer, a little bit. I don't need 2 hours, but
it's crazy feeling when a guy was young, like 6 years old, trying to play this in an arcade cabinet, and it felt like it took forever. It felt a lot longer than it did. But.
Yeah, but I mean, but you know what? At the same time, and I'm curious what you like. One of the main reasons I don't love all beat 'em ups is because they can get very boring. Like when they are too long or there is too many levels and it's just mashing attack for an hour and a half. So maybe there's something to be said for less is more, you know?
Yeah, like there's really not much reason to come back to it today, especially if you're new to beat 'em ups.
No, gosh, no. No, not at all. I'd like to see it like remade. Or like get a sequel or something. Because I don't think are there any more? Is this the only one?
No, there was a few other Golden Axes that came down the pipe.
Yeah, look at that. Golden Axe 2, Golden Axe 3. Wow.
And they were better. Like, they were better beat 'em ups as they came along.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. Golden Axe
There was
3.
even a Saturn game for Golden Axe.
Golden Axe, let's get busy. And it was the Sega Saturn one. Yeah, like when was the last one of these released? Latest release was 2008. Man,
yeah, it was a PlayStation 2 game, I think.
Yeah, Golden Axe Beast Rider. It's a stupid name. Yeah, wow, look at that. PS3, Xbox 360. Holy fuck! I want more of these. Like, dude. I'm asking for the sake of the podcast. I know the answer, but like, have you played Streets of Rage 4?
Oh yeah.
Tell me Streets of Rage 4 isn't fucking spectacular. Like,
I think it's the gold standard now.
Right? I've said it before. I think it's the best beat 'em up I've ever played in my life. Why can't we get another one of these? Like,
because they're reviving them too. Like, I mean, the River City Girls games are awesome, and they're based on what's it called, River City Ransom.
Right. And Streets of Rage 4 shows that you can take a retro beat 'em up and just make it modern and make it good. Like, you could clean up the graphics, put some online in there, and make it a longer game. It'd be fucking awesome. What the fuck else does Sega have to do these days? Like, make more arcade games? Like, fucking, I want another, dude, that'd be so sick. I mean it. Like, if they announced a new Golden Axe today, I'd be all about it. Even like a Golden Axe collection. Like with all the old games with online and stuff like that, maybe. I don't know. I'd rather have a new game than a collection of the old ones, I think. But
yeah, because there's a story here. There's a game world that you could flesh out for sure.
Totally. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I'm very I'm just looking. Yeah, it says the guy that the primary developer of this game was also responsible for the creation of Altered Beast. You can definitely see it. This Makoto Uchida. This dude knows what he likes, and that is very basic beat 'em ups. That's what he does. But yeah, I would love more of these.
Between this and Altered Beast, which one did you like better?
Oh fuck! Whatever I say, I'm gonna get yelled at. You know what? Honestly, I think I liked Altered Beast a little more. I like both, though. I genuinely like both. I just think I like Altered Beast a little bit better. I think I liked the cheesiness of Altered Beast. Like the power up. I liked that power up. I liked that. I don't know why. And I liked that system that you had to get those orbs. And if you didn't get enough by the end of the level, you had to do the level over. I thought that was a cool little gameplay loop. What about you? What do you like better? I like both, but I like Altered Beast a little more.
Oh, I was more of a Golden Axe guy.
Were you? But like, neither one is bad. Like, they're both fun video games.
Yeah. For what they were at the time of, they were definitely good.
I will say there's, I complain about really long video games, so I don't want to make it sound like it's a total criticism that this game is short. Thank you for respecting my time. I just, like, if I had gotten this game for Christmas as a little kid, it would have been dope. I would have played it, but it would have been like, man, I got to the final boss before we came upstairs for breakfast on Christmas morning. You know what I mean? Like, but I digress. It's still a fun game. And I think you could turn it up harder and turn your health down if you wanted to, too. And
I think there's kind of a cool replay to it where they actually, at the end of the game, if you beat it, it would rank you on how many times you died and
really?
a few other things too to give you a letter grade.
Oh, that's pretty dope. And then and that each of the three characters does play different, adds some replay value too, because you can go through as each of them, and like as opposed to just being like, again, palette swaps of three characters that play the same. I did want to fucking quickly rant about the final boss because. I'm positive you fight him once, and then you have to go to like this last level and fight him again. And I can get to that final fight, but then, bro, how the fuck do you?
You said you don't know. I can't beat that final boss because every time he fucking like the pixels move on the screen, he casts another spell, and I don't know how to dodge them. Like,
yeah, I think you need at least 2 people to finish him off.
I'm sure someone's gonna write in and tell me how I suck, but like, he's really fucking hard. Like, he just kills you so fast. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. And I was like, where the fuck? None of the other game is like this. But again, I just figured that's just part of, classic classic arcade game. They have to find a way to fucking kill you. That was really my only major gripe. Was it was a little short. I found the collision detection weird, but that's a product of the time, so I'm not going to ding it for that. And then I think the final boss is bullshit. I'll go that far as to just say it. Final boss is bullshit. I don't care. I don't know how. I'll save up all my magic, all my health. I'll get there, and he just fucking steamrolls through me. And I don't know what to do. Fuck you. I quit.
I will say, though, if you watch the video of when you finally do beat him, he has one of the most lamest deaths ever. He just falls over, and this golden axe twirls through there and lands on him.
Shut up. Fuck off. Fuck you. Are you kidding? I'm looking this up right now. I want to see this finish. Golden axe ending. This had better suck. Fucking golden axe. Golden axe ending. Yeah, I don't know how anyone beats this guy. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just suck. I don't know how the fuck anyone beat. This video's up. Dude, what the fuck? So the video I'm watching, the guy's playing as the barbarian, and he only has 1 health and 1 life. Oh, never mind. He just died. I'm assuming he's about to continue. Okay. I was like, what the fuck? He just beat him with 1 health and 1 life, but no, he didn't. All right. So yeah. So he's doing like the combo where you slash him, and then you just start hammering your elbow into his head. Oh yeah. And then these fucking skeletons, I guess the final boss, never die either. They stay around forever, and they're just annoying. Look at his health. He's just getting wrecked. Oh, my God. He's getting fucking steamrolled here.
You should have just watched the video for this podcast and do a play-by-play.
Yeah, I should have just done a play-by-play of it. Like, he's still... Like, basically, all this barbarian's doing is, like, jump slashing the skeletons. And, oh, yeah! Oh, my God, he did it! What? The axe isn't even golden. It's green. And it just flew up in the air. Where'd it come from? Wait a minute. Are you kidding me? The end of game screen is like 4 seconds? Oh, he's holding the axe. Oh, okay. But it's like a big green axe. And he just... Oh, what a lame final boss. The fucking barbarian shoulder charges him. And he falls backward and gets impaled by his own axe. Fuck off. What a dud. Man.
He'll never stop death at Oh, never mind.
Yeah. That's exact. They got the dud. What a crappy final boss. Oh well. You know what? I can't decide if I'm glad that I couldn't beat him so that I didn't have to watch the ending of that game, or if I'm mad that I couldn't beat a guy who dies by his own axe. That's not even gold. It should be called green axe. Fuck you. Anyways.
Well, in the sequel, when you play The Revenge of Death, he shows up with just a big stitch cut and where the axe landed.
Yeah. Oh, what a dumb game. I liked it. I liked it. I don't know. I'm still a little shocked that it won that poll, but I'm not upset. It came down to this and Beavis and Butthead. Those were the 2 games at the end of the poll. And I know that you're in the community. It was like that was a nail biter of a vote. Like it was separated by like 0.5 percentage point.
I think like 7 or 8 votes, I think someone was saying.
Yeah, it was nuts. So I'll ask, were you hoping for this, or were you hoping for Beavis and Butthead? Or do you not want to say due to not facing the wrath?
I voted Golden Axe.
Did you? Yeah, I'm glad it won. Like, for all of you that were asking me to do Beavis and Butthead, I probably will eventually. I fucking hate Beavis and Butthead. Like, I just don't think they're funny. They're just annoying. I know that take's gonna get me some shit, but I don't care.
I'll say this: I voted Golden Axe in the final, but I don't think I voted Golden Axe up till then, though.
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying is, like, I do get asked for more Sega coverage, and I haven't played any. Like, we have covered every Sega Genesis game I've ever played, and every Sega Genesis game I've played for this show, I've loved. Gunstar Heroes, Toe Jam and Earl, Streets of Rage. This was great. Altered Beast was good. I'm sure there's more. Mickey was okay, but I've played some Genesis games that I've really liked, but I was like, man, like was this game Like was Golden Axe like the Genesis's, like everybody that had an NES owned Ninja Turtles. Like that game is one of the best selling NES games of all time, even though it's not that good by a lot of people's points. Like, was this the Ninja Turtles? Like, did everyone just own this game back in the day? Like, did it come packaged with Genesises at some point?
Well, because I think when the Genesis launched, it had Altered Beast packaged in, but like I think that's what they leaned on heavy was these arcade experiences.
Yeah.
So was this, there's Golden Axe.
Like again,
Space Harrier Outrun, like they're all arcade games.
That's true, yeah. Like it's again, I'm not. I really want to make sure I make this clear. Like we're about to score this game. I like this game. It's not bad at all. I'm just shocked that this was the one that Genesis fans were like, you gotta play this. This game is epic. I'm like, you guys. Again, I know nostalgia is a power, but I'm like, you guys know you have Streets of Rage, right? Like those, like Streets of Rage 2, for my money, is the best game I've played on the Sega Genesis. It is perfect. I fucking love that game, and this is fine. But I was like, this is no Streets of Rage 2. But anyways, whatever, it's fine.
This game crawls goes so Streets of Rage could walk. There we go.
There you go. It crawls. Yeah, agreed. And I like it. And I respect tradition and I respect heritage of consoles. And that's, to me, that's what this is. This is like to me, this, I would say, like, if you were to name the 20 must-play Genesis games, like, this is probably one of them, right? Like,
well, it was the genesis of good games on this console.
Get out. Did you say it was the genesis of good games? I hate you. Yeah. Fuck you and your fucking puns. Now I'm going to fail this game. You can fucking, it's on you. And that, no, you know what? You fucked this game twice because of your pun and for showing me the final animation of this guy's giant golden or green axe fucking impaling him. What a crappy ending. Anyway, even why can't the hero like take the axe and slide him down with it? Why does he have to drop it on himself? Oh man. No offense, Sega, but when they were handing out final bosses, you guys must have been taking a whiz. Shout out to anyone that gets that reference. Good game, though. I like it. I mean, this might be one of the shortest episodes we've done in years, but I just don't know what the fuck else there is to say about this game. This podcast is 37 minutes, this conversation. This is twice as long as a playthrough of Golden Axe. Yeah. Like, is there anything else that we got to bring up? I think I'm good.
If there's anything else, we'd be making it up. So
yeah, it was fun though. I like this game. It was a fun little game. That's one of the cool things about this job is getting to like. It's one thing when I discover like a big epic, Grand Theft Auto 4 that I've never played or something like that. But there's something to be said for just one of these little games that I've seen all over the place but never played. And now I'm like, oh, it was cool. I was like, I've played it. I get it. It's like I get it now. I like it. How the fuck do we score this thing? Out of 15 because it takes 15 minutes to play.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that. All right, you're the Sega fan, so I want you to set the bar. What are we giving Golden Axe out of 15?
It's gonna get a purely nostalgia fueled score of 12.
It's a decent score. I know it's bad radio. But I think I agree. And mine isn't nostalgia fueled. I have no nostalgia for this game. I just was like, to me, this is retro gaming. No giant story, no big cinematics, no complicated controls. Dude, I could give a controller to my dad, and within like 3 seconds, he would understand how to play, and he'd also be concerned that he was in the game because of the dwarf. But he would, like, anyone could learn how to play this in seconds. It looks retro, but in a great way. It's not perfect, but that's okay. You know what I mean? I have a soft spot for old games like this. I like this game. I want to play it again.
Describe it one word, retro. Retro would do it.
Retro, it's so retro. I like it. I like this game. Man, oh man. All right. Yeah, let's go with that. 12s. Yeah, and if you're like, man, that was a short episode, go fucking play Golden Axe. You'll be done before you're done this episode, I promise. Yeah, good shit. I like it. It's good. So, okay, before we leave, Chris, I'm going to put you on the spot. Before we leave. My backlog is so full right now that, like, it's nothing else is cracking the lineup for a little while. But I'm just curious. You're an avid listener of the show. If there's one Genesis game that I have not yet played that you think is a must-play, what is it? I know I'm putting you on the spot. I'm sorry.
X-Men 2 then.
X-Men 2. I did play that a little bit on the 24-hour marathon a couple years ago. It was fucking pretty sick. That's a pretty sick game. Also, who's the best?
That'll show you how much of beat 'em ups have progressed since Golden Axe came out.
Yeah, no shit. Because I thought the original X-Men kind of sucked, but X-Men 2 was fucking awesome. Okay, so then second follow-up question: who's the best X-Man or X-Woman, whatever?
Just in general or from the game?
In general, and in the game, but mostly in general. Because there is a right. There are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. I'm telling you right now, there's a right answer.
I'll go with Cyclops. He reminds me of me. He's kind of a wiener. So.
Oh God, I'm gonna get so much shit for that because I defend Cyclops, and every time I do, people yell at me. But for my money, the best is Gambit. He is so awesome. I love Gambit. And that was why I liked this game, because I remember playing it a little bit on my 24-hour stream, and you could play as Gambit. And I was like, dude, nobody loves Gambit. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the second X-Men, it had kind of it didn't have as many of the main ones you always see.
No, yeah, I'm looking at the lineup right now. Holy fuck, what? Magneto was unlockable? What? Beast, Cyclops, Gambit, Nightcrawler, Psylocke, Wolverine. What? Jesus, why the fuck are we talking Golden Axe? Let's go play No. But I mean, this is also 5 years later. No, okay, all right, we're off topic now. That was fun. I honestly was a little nervous about this episode because I was like, fuck, I know I haven't said a meat on the bone in a while, but I'm like, is there enough meat on the bone to fucking make an episode out of this game? But no, it was fun. I think we didn't waste anybody's time. I thought it was a fun, stupid little game. It's a fun game. I wonder if it'd be good on mobile. Like, I wonder if it'd be a good time killer on like a phone. I don't know. Maybe.
I think there's something that can be done with it.
Oh yeah. Oh,
modern
dude.
Times.
I want a new one so bad. I'll tell you right now. Like, you all can hold me to this. I'll use some of my powers to try to will a new Golden Axe into existence. And if they announce a new Golden Axe, it's may not number one, but it's pretty high up my list of most anticipated games. I would love to. Dude, I'm telling you, Streets of Rage 4 changed the game for me for reviving these old franchises. Like, Streets of Rage 4 showed what you can do with these old games. Like,
especially old beat-em-ups.
Exactly, especially old beat-em-ups. Fuck, I would love another one of these. Anyway, all right. I think we've killed enough time. I don't think we can stretch this out any longer. So let's wrap this thing up. Chris, thank you as always for taking time out of your busy schedule to give me a talk old video games. And tip of my cap to your precious Sega Genesis and your Golden Axe. Pretty fun little game.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
And that's going to do it for this week's episode. Chris, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking a little bit of Golden Axe, even though it's a green axe that the boss self-impales himself on. It's stupid. And each and every one of you, I was like, who else do I have to thank? You, the listeners. Yeah, thank you so much for listening to the show, because whether this was your first Remember the Game or maybe your 246th, I appreciate you more than you could ever imagine. And if you like this, leave us a good review, would you? I'm not sure what they accomplish, but I know the good podcasts ask for them, so we're going to do that as well. And if you want more of these, check out patreon.com/rememberthegame. There are fucking hundreds and hundreds of ad-free bonus podcasts waiting for over there for you to download onto your phone. Boom! At the drop of a $2 subscription. Or you can go into a higher subscription and get even more podcasts. And you get all kinds of other perks too. Like you can write into the show and DM with me and you get a shout out. You guys know how it all works by now. Patreon.com/rememberthegame. I'm going to thank some patrons and get the hell out of here, but I'll be back tomorrow for all of those patrons with Expansion Pass 160, where we'll be talking about the gaming worlds we would most and least likely live, like to live. I'm struggling today. I've been all over. I still have to do another podcast this afternoon, and I'm nervous because I'm stumbling all over my words here. So we're going to get that done. Friday, I'll be back with Game Patch. We'll talk about all the biggest news in the world of video games. And next week, it is a Monday through Friday slab of podcasts, man, for all of our for our patrons, whatever. Monday,
Purple Monkey Dishwasher episode 5, I think, which is going to be Bart the General. Mark and I are going to look back at Bart the General. Great episode. Tuesday will be The Rambling Idiot, where I'll talk about whatever I feel like talking about. Wednesday will be Remember the Game 247, which will probably be Metroid 2 for the Game Boy. Thursday will be Expansion Pass 161. I have no fucking idea what that's going to be yet. And then Game Patch on Friday. Good times. Thanks, everybody. Yo, if you're hearing this before this weekend and you're in Calgary, I am at the Comedy Cave from Thursday, April 27th to Saturday, April 29th. Headlining and telling jokes, and it'd be cool if you came by and said hello. And I'll be at the Calgary Expo this weekend just walking around looking at stuff. So if you see me there, say hello as well, all right? Yeah. If you don't see me in those two places, leave me the fuck alone. But if you see me in those two places, say hi. Okay, I'm going to thank some Patreons and leave. Thanks a lot, everybody, for listening. I appreciate you all very much, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Cheers. So long. Goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I am contractually obligated to say their names as quickly as possible. So a huge thank you to Makeshift Mallow, Magic Money, Joe Buck, Sharonic, Andre, The Keegs, James Clark, Dave McGee, Dan of DNA Gaming, Slick Rick, Doug Doran, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Fraser Burns, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, Nathan Tremblay, A-Town, Morgan, Zane, Donovan, Ryan Kitchen, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang, Darren, Sam Wright, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny CCDC, Joel LeBlanc, Squints, Titan 420, Zalco 504, Russell Aldrich, Jeff Bergeron, Captain NOT Plays Games, Daniel, Tunable Power, John Woodruff, Randy Barrett, Just a Fish, Poop Q, Super Dad Bros Podcast, and Zalo, Holmes, Zach Shepard, Ballsack, Teabagger, Chris Dickin, Frosty Fee 492, Triple, Chugger 22, Elijah Burns, Stephen Parnell, Jamra Pram, Fuck, I'm sure I butchered that one. Ray Sen Wantonga, Zach Coiner, DBXJ, Jameer Williams, Steve Dalk, Mizuru, Jacob Adams, Phil Lencher, Joe the Sandman, Ruben Elizald, Eric James, Jake Carter, Thomas Childs, Biddy, Laces Out, Dan, Beaverboy, C-Spin, Thomas Smith, Nicola, Leroy Westrich, Evolva, Sean Ramos, DB Cooper, Stud Still Smash, Gabe, Dan Fusselman, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam, John Jameson, Wyatt the Surgeon who's not a surgeon, Roe, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Bucky the Beagle Herder, Antonio Echeverria, Hagel Waffle, High Plains Drifter, Esteban Navarro, KH, Timothy, Joe Stone, Chris Williams, Oroku Saki's Gardener, Nicole Aldana, Cody Richardson, General Fury, Them Boys on the Roof, Max Lagroom, current Remember the Game Hall of Famer Mark McHugh, James Juan Francesco, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Matt Hamilton, Daniel DeVore, Jugs of Bad, okay, Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude, Walter, Nerdy Hybrid, Adam, or the Fletchman. They used to be Adam Fletcher, and he changed it. It's fucking with me. Colin Bollinger, Sleeper Hit, Joey Mercury, Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Brian Neese, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Musty Beetle, Bud Lightyear, John M. Watkins, Timothy Sabrinsky, Beef Dingleberry, Michael Barjudina, Hitchy Poo, Arctic Vision, Bulma Simp, Mark but not McHugh, Trevor McKee, Burt Macklin, Quiet Place Queen, Cam Nelly 23, Zamatos, Chris Lovin, Oh My God, It Froze, Bobby Litton, Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Knife Goes In, Guts Come Out, Works For Me, Heman Demon, Dakota Guy, Alexander Camps, Piece of Dudes Got 30 Seconds, Ryan Perry, Alex R., It's the Bigfoot, Graham, Lucas Valadez, Ichi Nutsuru, Mr. Papa Giorgio, Solomon Soto, my asthma, Darth Skywalter, Denton Van Zam, Postman, WestGen, Nick Creature, Adam Martinet, NAFE, Dr. Nightmare 23, Kevin Monroe, Shorzy, Because 19, Digital Dave, Lord Longrod Von Hugendom II, Frosty Beer, Max Sandin, Sour Goatface, Alex Ramos, Faded Sufferance, Tristan Anderson, Benjamin Atkins, Robbie DLC, Ryan Marie, Smello Yellow 8787, B Money, Higher Goons, Who, Brandon Helmheckle, The Fiend, Ryan Colton, It's OG, Tyler Bauer, Snowfall, Fallen Snow Kiku, Dill Pickle Rick, E-Man Trucker, Mark Sneed, That One Kid Josh, Raging Irish, Atriu, Wormwood, Agent Booty Pants, Shoeboxers, Wildcard, Adam Blank Still has reviewed Mario Galaxy, Jay Callahan, Robbie Air, Sabin, Brian Richmond, Devilish Saint, Blobby Richard Rogers, Super Nintendo Chalmers, Glue Scappin, Bula, No Games, No Beer, Make CJ Something Something, Matt Zeus, Buy Me Bone Storm, Plow King, Cesar, Pickin' Hat, Philip Mamoof with Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Robinson Dick Whittles, Cody Thompson, Preston Dylan Tourette, Elephant Calves, Shane Johnson, Scissor Fist, and Ragatucci. When I start to do the shout-outs, I'm always gung-ho, and by the end, I'm like, fuck, how much longer is this list? My tongue is cramping here. Anyway, thank you all so much for the support. You're all heroes in my book, and I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Talk to you on the next one. Cheers.